viewers, welcome to another episode on channel NITT. This episode we are going to stir up a storm. Why? Because we're going to talk about the MBTI of Singapore politicians. Particularly, we're going to talk about Singapore ministers. If this is the first time you're on this channel, welcome. We are a psychology-based channel that releases videos on parenting, MBTI, and psychological principles. So this is an MBTI episode. So in our previous episodes, we have released some basic 101 MBTI videos on MBTI profiling. You can refer to those videos first if you have not watched this, because I am going to talk about some cognitive functions and you might be lost if you have not heard of this MBTI cognitive functions before. Now in my other video, which I am releasing on the same day, I am going to talk about Minister Chan Chun Sing. So to help you to understand what I am actually talking about in that episode, I am doing a standalone episode in this episode. Wow, confusing. So in this episode, I am going to explain the premise of my evaluation of Chan Chun Sing. That is, all ministers in Singapore must be the J type of personality. All ministers in Singapore must be the J personality type in MBTI. So in one of my previous episodes, I touched a bit on the difference between J types and P types. So in anyone's MBTI profile, which consists of 4 alphabets, the final alphabet must be either a J or a P. This means that anyone must be either a J type or a P type. So as I have explained in my other videos, J type or people, they are either TE or FE users. They are also NI or SI users. Conversely, a P type of personality, they are either NE or SE users, or they are FI or TI users. So Singapore ministers demonstrate a lot of J type of qualities. So a J type of person tends to be logical and rational, which is a TE trait. They also tend to be future focused and thoughtful. That is an NI trait. So J people also tend to be conscientious and rule abiding. That is an SI trait. J people can also be very communal and focus on community building, which is an FE trait. And also, the J type may be more focused on helping others and building a common good, more so than a P type. I mentioned that the J type of people are more likely to be law-abiding. However, this does not mean that the P types are not law-abiding. P type individuals who use NE, for example, may be likely to think of ways to go about the law. P type individuals who are SE users are more likely to challenge the law. Then we have the P-type individuals who use FI. They may be more likely to disobey the law, especially when they do not see that the laws are aligned to their personal values. This does not mean that the P-type of politician does not exist. It's just that they don't exist in our ruling party in Singapore. Now, P-type of politicians may still exist in other campaigning parties in Singapore. Now, since the election may be coming anytime soon, many other parties will be trying to form a team. So some parties may be trying to rope in an influencer because they think that this influencer may be able to garner in some votes. But the likelihood is many of the influencers that are roped in, they are actually P personality types, and they might not do politics any good. Now, moving further away from our country, P type of politicians definitely exist. So we have a very classic example, Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has been commonly typed as an ESTP, which means that he is an SE user and a TI user. So he demonstrates the traits of an SE and TI user very saliently. So as an SE user, Donald Trump has been seen to act on his own without informing the Congress first. So he makes his own decisions, he acts very quickly, which is an SE trait. His TI is also reflected in a lot of ways. So as a TI user, Donald Trump also uses explanation that doesn't make sense at times, and to the point, sometimes it appears as if he is blatantly lying. So in other countries, we may also see P personality type of people rising to high positions. So some of these people may be actually corrupt. So I hypothesize that a corrupt politician, be it a minister, prime minister or president of another country, may actually be an FI user. However, this does not mean that the J type will never be corrupt. It's just that if you find one person who's corrupt, he or she is more likely to be a P type. So I am not basing my deduction of their MBTI type on one sole single incident. So these people who are celebrities and politicians that we might want to type may be putting up a show, a public persona in front of media. So we may really have to observe these people over time to spot some traits that are consistent, and from there we can deduce a person's personality type. So the J type of individual, they are either TE users or FE users. So as I have mentioned in my episode on how I type people or how I deduce MBTI type, first, after having identified that this person is a J type, I will then decide whether this person uses TE or FE. Why do I look at the extroverted function first? Because the extroverted function is more obvious because it's projected outwards. So comparing TE, extroverted thinking, and FE, extroverted feeling, TE is very much easier to identify. I wish I got this hallelujah music. Oh. But no, I don't have that sound effect, okay? Let's continue. So because the TE user values efficiency, so they might not be very patient, sometimes they can be very blunt and straightforward. So I am going to share with you two personal situations where there is a comparison made between TE and FE. So you can actually also use this as a guide to see whether somebody could have been a TE user or an FE user. Now if you have watched season 1, then you must have remembered Reporter Ken, right? So Reporter Ken is an ISFJ, so he is an FE user. So in one of the episodes, we were actually talking about doing suicide. So his concern was very interesting. He says that we cannot do this episode. He argued that if we do such an episode, then a lot of people will be very sad because they have family members that actually may have committed suicide. So you can see his flow of thought, right? He is thinking from the perspective of other people, and that is how an FE person may prefer to think. However, from my own perspective, as a TE user, I am more solution focused. The purpose of me wanting to do an episode on suicide is because I want to educate, I want to share with a larger viewer audience on what I feel about this topic, and it was not to stir any emotions from anyone who might be affected by the video. So another example that I would like to share is the one whereby in 2016, Joseph Schooling actually won Singapore's first Olympic gold. So a lot of people are very happy, they are feeling very nationalistic about it. So on my WhatsApp, everybody is saying hooray, hooray, they want to share with somebody, and on my Facebook there are a lot of shares of joy on that. So I can understand that. However, the first thing that came to my mind was not that I felt very happy for Singapore. I was actually thinking, Joseph Schooling won our Singapore's ever first gold. So since this is Singapore's first gold, are we going to get a public holiday or not? So I was quite surprised because apparently I appear to be the only person to be thinking this way. So when I shared with a person, I thought this way, he was saying, how can you be so selfish? But actually, it was nothing to do with whether I'm selfish or not. In fact, in the year 2016, I wasn't even working for anybody. So having declared any public holiday has no use to me because every day is the same to me. I was just thinking from the point of view of the citizens of Singapore. So as you can see, the TE user and the FE user really can think quite differently. The TE user is very solution focused. So they think about resources, they think about how to get things done, they think about what the consequences of things are for the community. However, FE users tend to think from the perspective of feelings of others, the welfare of others, how community is going to benefit from this initiative. So as a result, TE users as compared to FE users may tend to discount feelings a lot. So as an example of a politician in Singapore that demonstrates TE very clearly, I can think of Taman, and another one would be Chan Chun Sing. So Chan Chun Sing is a very controversial politician in Singapore. So in my other episode, I am going to talk about his MBTI type and how I deduce his MBTI type. So go ahead, watch that video, you will enjoy it. I never say I hope you will enjoy it, I say you will enjoy it. So as promised, in season 3, we are going to bring you more exciting content, more evolved content, including an episode like this where we're going to talk about politics. So I want to reiterate, this is not a political video, it's an educational video. And if you like what we are doing in episode 3, right? If you like what we are doing in season 3 and you have not subscribed, please do subscribe and support us. We will really appreciate your support. And do watch our existing videos as well. We'll see you again very soon. Goodbye. Goodbye.